What's up YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video I'm going to give my scheduled preview of the Ohio State Buckeyes for the 2023 season. But if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it greatly helps out my channel and it helps me grow as a content creator. Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes went 11-2 last season, and in a year where kind of struggled offensively early on in the season, and but despite the fact was able to make it through the schedule until the last matchup against the Michigan Wolverines, and lost that matchup in a tight game. You know, it was tight for the first 3 quarters, but you know, the Ohio State Buckeyes, you know, fell apart in the 4th quarter, and they lost a second straight, you know, year to the Michigan Wolverines, and but despite that, was able to make a playoff berth. A couple teams ahead of them lost, and they was able to make it, and they played the Georgia Bulldogs in the first matchup in the playoff. In a game where I feel like Ohio State could have pulled it off. You know, it was right there, but missed the field goal, and lost to a point by the current, you know, champs of college football in the Georgia Bulldogs. But a valiant effort by C.J. Stroud and the Ohio State Buckeyes. But look forward to their 2023 season, and want to read off their schedule, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to look like this upcoming season. And like I said, going to be tough, you know, as always, to get through the schedule. But I'm going to read off the stats and see what their schedule looks like, and if they can make it back to the playoff. Now, their first matchup is going to be against the Indiana Hoosiers. This should be a matchup I feel like, you know, Ohio State should win. You know, Indiana is a team, you know, severely, in my opinion, talent-wise, and not going to be able to keep up with Ohio State talent-wise, but that's why you play the games. But you know, Indiana hasn't been really a good team, you know, in the Big Ten, and this is a matchup where Ohio State should win, in my opinion, easily. Probably be I want to say a 3-touchdown favorite in this matchup, maybe, just coming off the top of my head. But a matchup where Ohio State should win comfortably. Then their next matchup on September 9th is against Youngstown State Penguins. Another matchup, just going to overpower the opponent. You know, should be an easy matchup for Ohio State. Get some young guys in there and get some experience. You know, should be, you know, a matchup where, you know, get a lot of heavy rotation in the matchup. So, game they should win as well. On September 16th, they play against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. This is going to be a tune-up game, in my opinion, for their next matchup that they're going to have. Should win this game easy. Western Kentucky is a team, you know, you got to kind of watch out for, but there's still going to be a huge gap in talent in this matchup, and the Ohio State Buckeyes should win this matchup. But like I said, tune-up for September 23rd. They're playing against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is going to be a pretty good matchup, guys. Last season, the game wasn't exciting as, you know, preseason that a lot of people thought it was going to be. It was a slow game, but nevertheless, Ohio State was able to pull it off. It's going to be interesting, though, because Notre Dame's bringing in, you know, a transfer in Sam Hartman, and he could be a problem, you know, for Ohio State. Notre Dame is a pretty good, decent team. They just, whenever they make it to the playoff, they just can't get past the hump of the first playoff game. But this could be a close matchup, guys. Notre Dame could cause some problems. You know, like I said, Ohio State didn't really run away from them last season, and Notre Dame is going to be better, I feel, than what they was last season. So it's not going to be easy. You know, going on the road as well. I think Ohio State goes on the road to play them, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. But I feel like Ohio State's going to win this matchup, but don't bet your eyes on this one, because this could be a really, really close matchup. On September 30th, Ohio State plays against Maryland Terrapins. Now, Talia Tagovailoa is coming back, you know, and he's going to make this matchup intriguing because he's looked significantly better than he did last season under Dan Enos. He was his quarterback coach last season, and Dan Enos has since left and went to Arkansas to be the offensive coordinator over there. But Maryland brought in Kevin Sumlin, a former Texas A&M head coach, great offensive-minded guy. And we all know Mike Locksley is a great offensive mind as well. So this Maryland team could be really hard, you know, really hard to beat. But Maryland struggles on the road for the most part when they're on the road. And I think Ohio State, of course, is going to have more depth. And I think the talent is going to be a difference in this game. But we have to see when this matchup comes around whether or not, you know, if everything looks, you know, fine as far as players. This should be a matchup where Ohio State should be favored, but you never know when you're playing in the Big Ten. Saturday, October 14th, playing against the Purdue Boilermakers. If I'm not mistaken, I think Drew Brees has joined the staff at Purdue. If I'm not mistaken, he played at Purdue. So, you know, Purdue is a team that's given, you know, Ohio State problems, you know, especially when they're playing them at home. But I think Purdue is losing a lot of players from last season. I know their quarterback opted out of playing in off season because he had family issues, and this is another game where I just feel like Ohio State should have the advantage, even though Ohio State is going to be breaking in a new quarterback. I just feel like Ohio State should have this game, you know, as a win. The next matchup, though, Saturday, October 21st, versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now, Penn State no longer has Sean Clifford. You know, he's not going to be there anymore. Seemed like he was there forever. But this is going to be, I think, a close matchup, guys, for Ohio State. Penn State is a team that just can't never put it together. You know, they have the talent to compete with everybody. And last year's matchup, Penn State was right there with Ohio State for the most part. But like I said, they won't have Sean Clifford. I think they're going to start the young guy. I think he's going to be a sophomore. I think his name Allaire. Real talented guy. Big guy, 6'5", about 245 pounds. I think he's going to make this game a matchup, guys. He was the backup to Sean Clifford last season. And this is going to be a tough matchup, guys. Another tough matchup when you start getting into Big Ten playing against these good teams. But it's going to be interesting to see what Ohio State does in this matchup. That you definitely have to circle that game on your calendar. The next game, October 28th, against the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin has brought in Luke Fickell after they got rid of, you know, Paul Crisp. Going to be an interesting matchup, guys. Wisconsin could get the Buckeyes. You know, I know Wisconsin, you know, I think they got this game at home, if I'm not mistaken, against the Ohio State Buckeyes. And it's going to be a tough game. You know, it's going to be tough for Ohio State coming off of games like Penn State and Maryland and Purdue. You know, teams like that traditionally give them problems. And, you know, Wisconsin is a team, you know, traditionally is a pretty tough team. You know, they run that pro-style offense, and they're very physical. You know, they kind of remind me of an SEC team, you know, kind of like an Arkansas and Alabama of the old, and Georgia. So this could be a tough matchup, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But anything can happen in this matchup. Like I said, Luke Fickell is a great head coach. He did a phenomenal job while he was over there with Cincinnati, and it's gonna be a good matchup, and gonna be very intriguing. But the Buckeyes gonna have to watch out in that matchup. Then the next game, Saturday, November 4th, they play against Rutgers, Scarlet Knights. This should be an easy game for Ohio State. I just don't see how Rutgers will be able to pull that off. So that should be an easy game as well. Then on Saturday, November 11th, Ohio State plays against the Michigan State Spartans, a team since Mel Tucker has been there, you know, and just in general, you know, Michigan State was able to beat them. I think it was 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2015 they was able to beat them and make it into the playoff. But they played against my Alabama Crimson Tide that year, and they lost. But traditionally, you know, Michigan State, you know, they don't have any answers for Ohio State's offense, and I think that's going to continue this upcoming season. And but you never know. You know, Michigan State can probably put something together. That's why you play the games. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But Ohio State has had its way with Michigan State for the most part these last couple of seasons, and that's going to be an interesting matchup as well. Then Saturday, November 18th, Ohio State plays against Minnesota Golden Gophers. This should be a game. I feel like I don't know too much about Minnesota. I'm not sure who's their quarterback, but and this is a home game for Ohio State, and I would like to think Ohio State will have the advantage there. And then next matchup, it was going to be the big one on November 25th against the Michigan Wolverines. Like I said, a team that has beaten Ohio State back-to-back. If Ohio State is undefeated by this point, which I think they will be, there's going to be a lot riding on this game for Ryan Day. You know, like I said, losing to them twice, and I won't say blowout fashion because the score makes it look like it was a blowout, because Ohio State was in that matchup last season. This just fell apart at the end. But what's concerning, I already did a video that, you know, it's going to come out, already came out and everything. Like I said in that video, Michigan didn't have Blake Corum playing in that matchup. They had Donovan Edwards. If everything goes well for Michigan, they're going to have Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards run the ball. Then they're going to have experience at the quarterback with J.J. McCarthy. Michigan is bringing back a lot of offensive output from last season, and they won't have, you know, Ronnie Bell, of course, but they're bringing back a lot of offensive firepower. And then Ohio State has to go on the road to Ann Arbor and play Michigan. But it's going to be an interesting matchup. You know, if Ryan Day some kind of way loses this game to Michigan, the third season in a row, I expect Ryan Day to have, you know, that seat's going to be on fire, in my opinion, because you just can't lose to your rival like that. You got to be able to tip, you know, the balance back in, you know, in your favor, especially Ohio State. You know, they've been running things in the Big Ten for the most part, and but Michigan of late has came on strong. They came on late. Like I said, Jim Harbaugh has struggled with Ohio State, you know, the whole time he was there, but was able to beat them 2 years in a row. So this is going to be a huge matchup. Even if Ohio State has a loss here and there, I feel like Ohio State has to win this matchup against Michigan this year for the Ohio State Buckeyes fan base to feel comfortable, you know, going forward. But huge matchup to end the season, and of course, if Ohio State wins, you know, their division, they'll go on to play in the Big Ten championship and possibly get in the playoffs. But a lot of good games for the Buckeyes this season. Like I said, the traditional teams is going to give them problems, like the Penn States. They're not going to lay down. Purdue sneaky good. Maryland is going to be really, really good this season, I think, offensively. Got to play Notre Dame, a team that's going to be better. A lot of good matchups for Ohio State, but I feel like the biggest game is going to be against the Michigan Wolverines. If they can get over that hump, everything will be right in Columbus, Ohio. But what do you guys think? You know, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.